something really weird. Okay, well, you know how I went back and I read through some of my old comics from when I was like a kid? I drew these comics that were really bad. It was called Hamy and Taro because I ripped off Ham Taro and just made characters out of that. It's really pathetic, I know, but yeah, Hamy and Taro was my old comic back in the day, and I uploaded a few videos, about 3 videos, where I read through 3 of the different books with my brother, Homeless Goomba from Venturian Tale. And we read through those books, and a lot of the comments were telling me to redraw the characters. And I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't redrawn them in forever. I did redraw them a while ago for like a comic. I was trying to redo the comic, and I never did finish it, but I had like quite a few pages, almost maybe like 50 or so pages. I should probably like upload that just so you guys can see it. But I did redo some of the comic and like try to redo the story in a more, I don't know, more normal way. It's hard to redo that story in a good way because the story is so bad. But anyway, I'm going to be drawing Hammy. Hammy is the main character from my comic book as a kid. And it really makes no sense, the story. Let me try to explain it to you. Okay, it starts out, my first book I ever did, I never read this one on the channel because this one doesn't have words in it. There are no speech bubbles. The first Hamy and Taro book and second had no speech bubbles. They just had pictures of the characters doing things. But I would remember what they were saying. And then when I would like show them to my siblings, I would just reread it and like tell them what they said. So it's really confusing because every single time I bet the dialogue probably changed every single time I read it because I'm sure I forgot it. There's no way I remembered every single thing they said. I probably didn't write the words simply because I was really bad at spelling. Like incredibly bad at spelling. It was really sad. I probably started drawing Hamy and Taro when I was, maybe 9? I probably was 9 years old when I started Hamy and Taro, and I was really, really bad at spelling, like incredibly bad. But I mean, I was trying my best. I would ask all my family members for spelling words. I'd ask them to write them down in the back of my books so that I could check on them. And so I was trying. I was just really bad at spelling, and you know, that's normal, right? I don't know why. But yeah, so this is Hammy, and she's the main character. So it starts out with them at school, and she's walking with her best friend, Sandy. Sandy was in one of the books I read. She was like dead in the future or something. It got really dark. I don't know why. It was a really dark book for a 9-year-old. But yeah, they start at school, and then while they're walking from school, I don't know what they were talking about because I didn't have dialogue. They randomly fell in a pit. And apparently this pit was opened up by this person named AG. And AG opened up the pit to bring them down because she wanted to talk to them. And she wanted to talk to them because she wanted to give them these superpowered objects. Like, Sandy got a superpowered hair barrette thing that would like clip onto her hair, and it gave her superpowers. And then Hammy got these 2 bracelets that were superpowers, and I remember saying that, oh, it's so rare to have 2 because that was so powerful. And then of course their big enemy was Taro. Taro was the enemy that later turned good, but he was the bad guy to begin with. And that's the kid with the mullet. He has like this really pointy hair on top, but then in the back it goes long, and it's so confusing. I don't know. But if you guys do want to go check out some of the books I did read on the channel, I'll link them in the description. But like I said, there's not a whole lot that we didn't read it in order. We only read like we read 2 from the series of them going to the future, and then we read 1 that was like the final one I ever did. But we never went back and looked at the very beginning. I should probably go through them all simply because I might as well. I'm going to like lose them someday, or like lose the books. I would love to have them on YouTube just so I don't lose them forever. You know what I mean? But yeah, it was such a dorky comic. So after they got their objects that apparently gave them superpowers, that they could shoot lasers and stuff like that, their first mission was to go find Bob. Bob was this guy that looked very generic, and his name was generic, and I don't think he had a story. Now that I think about it, I don't think there was, but they had to go find Bob, and I'm not sure why. So they went to go find Bob, and then when they found Bob, he was possessed by the Eye. The Eye is the main villain besides Taro. Taro was a villain, but he was the villain because he worked for the Eye. And the Eye is the main villain. I can't believe the villain's name is the Eye. That's so bad. Oh my gosh! It sounds so awful. Now that I'm saying it out loud, it sounds even worse than in my head. So yeah, the main villain is the eye, and when the eye possesses someone, one of their eyes goes completely black. So that's how you could tell someone's possessed by the eye. So they went to go try and get Bob, but then I guess, I don't know, Bob was possessed or something like that, but then they found out that Taro was behind it. And Taro is the main villain, or the main dude, who later turns good or something. And he was there and they fought him, and then I don't know if he became good at the end of the first book or the second book. It may have been the second. I don't remember. Or it was the first. If he turned good that fast, I would be shocked. Like, I had like a plot twist way too soon. It was like the very first little book. It was like, there's this bad guy, but no, he's the good guy now. And I was like, I don't know. It was, I was obsessed with anime as a kid. Like, I loved anime, and I also loved superpowers and like any sort of superheroes. I love those things. Like when I would play Barbies as a kid, I didn't want to play house. I wanted to play superpowers. Like all the Barbies would have different superpowers. Even the kid would be like Wolverine and like spawn claws and start attacking people. And then, yeah, that's not normal, I know, but it was fun. I mean, did anyone else love playing superpowers and stuff like that as a kid? I mean, it's totally normal, right? But yeah, I liked lots of superpowers, lots of anime. I watched my first anime, I'm not sure if it was or in high school. I think it was Inuyasha, my first anime. It's really hard to tell because I watched so many when I first started, like so many like different ones. So I'm not sure what my first anime was because I watched like random things like Shaman King, Card Captors, a bunch of random animes. Well, I'm not counting Pokemon because I watched the Western version like with the dub. So I'm not counting that as an anime. I mean, it is an anime, so I should probably count it. So if that's the case, Pokemon and Digimon would be my first animes. But yeah, I don't know if that counts. But not counting that, I started getting into anime with like Death Note, Inuyasha, Card Captors, stuff like that. And that's when I first got into anime, and then I got obsessed with it. And every time I started drawing, I didn't really get into drawing that much until when I started doing it digitally. But I did do Hamy and Taro and stuff like that. So I always was a little into drawing, but I mean, I wasn't very good at it. As you can see, my Hammy character there on the left, that's her in the my final Hamy and Taro drawing book. My final comic of Hamy and Taro, that's what she looked like. So even my final one, it wasn't very good, but the originals I bet were a lot worse. I don't remember. I need to go back and look at them because I think I have them all. I have most of them. There was one book that I lost, mostly because it kept tearing and ripping, and it was just, I think it was the darkest one too. I think it's the one where Sandy dies. And it was probably really dark. I need to find that one too and see how many pages are still left. Because there were a lot of pages and I lost a ton of them. Because I had like papers and I stapled them together instead of actually using a notebook like the others. So that's why that one got really messed up and lost and stuff like that. So I'm kind of sad that it's not all there. Because I'm curious what it all looked like. But I need to like look at it because that sounds fun. But yeah. Oh, I remember one time... I just remembered something that's so embarrassing. Oh my gosh, but I'm gonna say it anyway because might as well. Back when I was making Hamy and Taro books, I would draw them and then I drew these really short ones. These short little comics of Hamy and Taro that I would want to show my brother and sisters and stuff, and I was like, I could totally get stuff out of this because my brother was my #1 fan and I totally abused that. I abused this so bad. He loved my Hamy and Taro comics and he thought they were cool. Like, he legitimately thought they were cool. Because he was younger than me, alright? So, I mean, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, I wanted to try and find a way to get something out of giving them the books. Which sounds totally evil now that I think about it. So I would be like, okay, you can read this book if you pick up 5 items in my room. I'm not even kidding. 5 items or something like that. Like, you had to go clean my room in order to read the book. That is so awful. But, you know, I was that lazy. I must have been one lazy kid to be like, you know what? I don't want to clean my room today. I could totally get stuff out of these, like having other people clean my room to read my books. Like, what the heck? That is the dorkiest, awful. I forgot about that until just now. I can't believe I did that. I was a terrible sister. But yeah, then later, around the same time of me doing Hamy and Taro, like drawing them, me and my brother, we used to play paper figures. We called them paper figures because they were paper figures. They were figures that we would like print out and then cut out of the paper. And I remember when we first printed those out, I think my brother printed them out way back when I was really young. I was probably like 7, 8. I don't know. But they printed out these figures of different characters, like from Legend of Zelda, from like, I think Gundam was in there or something. Now that I think about it, some characters I didn't recognize, but now that I think about it, I think they are from Gundam. That's really random, but yeah, there's a lot of random characters. I'm surprised there were no Pokemon characters. There were none. There were Digimon. Lots and lots of Digimon characters and Digimon. Like, all of the Digimon you could possibly imagine, we had a figure for. And later, when I was around 9, my brother and or I think I did start earlier, but around 9 or 10 or, I don't know, we played the paper figures for years. We started really early, back when he first created them when I was like 7, but then later on, we started playing with my brother, and my little brother, he and I started making up the story. And it's the same story you guys are seeing in Grandma, you know, my Minecraft series. It's the exact same story we made up as kids, playing figures. Though we made up really dark stories, and we were like, it was really creepy, honestly, and I don't know why. We were such little kids, so why did we make up such creepy stories? But, you know, we did. So all of the stuff you're seeing in Grandma, well, most of it anyway, was stated when we played paper figures as little kids. So I'm always checking in with him, trying to get the story, like, proper when I'm making the series. Because it's a story that I think is interesting and unique, so I wanted to go with it. Like, having even cat people and stuff like that was in our, like, stories back when we played figures as kids. And I think that's interesting to try and turn that into an actual series. So that's why we're doing that. But anyway, I mentioned AG? AG was the girl that gave them their superpowers. Yeah, I got the name AG by... let me explain. Okay, when I would create names as a kid for any book, I would look around my room. So I was looking around the room like, how do I name the characters? And I saw a backpack with Hamy and Taro. Okay, Ham Taro on it. There was a Ham Taro backpack. And I was like, so that should be Hamy and Taro. Good, I got those names. Then I look around some more and I saw American Girl. A poster on the wall for American Girl. You know, like that magazine with the American Girl dolls? I don't know if anyone else knows what that is. But yeah, and it said AG on it, like American Girl. So I stole the name. And I was like, AG is another one of my characters. So I literally just looked around the room for character names. Anyway, we're all done here. I hope you would like this picture. This picture, I didn't do my normal style, so it's kind of weird to redraw it with a style that I don't normally use. I was just wanted to be really sketchy and really fast. So this is a really quickly done drawing, but I hope it looks okay, and I hope you like it. It's fun to draw my old characters because I haven't drawn them in forever. Thank you guys so much for watching.